At the end of October, the Moscow theatre Lenkom was supposed to go on tour to Israel. Upon learning of the planned performance, concerned citizens created a petition to keep those who advocate unjustified military aggression from entering Israeli theatres. At first, they distributed it in instant messengers among acquaintances and friends.
Then it appeared on the net, mainly on Facebook. Facebook is the main social network among immigrants from the former Soviet Union, and this is how it began. After that, the baton was taken over by the journalist Liza Razovskaya, who wrote an article about this in Haaretz. And Haaretz is one of the central Israeli newspapers. It is often referred to as the newspaper of the elites. There, probably most of the artists, and indeed other types of elites, are present and read this newspaper. That is, when you write there, the people who make the decision pay attention to it.
With the joint efforts of activists and the press, the company that produces the theatre cancelled the tour. At the same time, not only immigrants from Ukraine who migrated to Israel joined the boycott of the play memorial prayer.
Not only immigrants from Ukraine do not support the aggression of the Russian Federation, there are a lot of people who at one time came from the Soviet Union, and when the Soviet Union collapsed, from the other republics, from Russia, Belarus, Moldova, from everywhere. In fact, the number of pro-Russian figures in Israel is negligible. These are some lumpens that are funded by no one knows who.
This is not the first time that the Israeli public has opposed the tour of Russian pop singers who support the Kremlin. Earlier in Israel, under pressure from opponents of the war, the concerts of Olga Buzova, Yelena Vainga and Grigory Leps were cancelled. At the same time, Israel welcomes the arrivals of those artists who publicly spoke out against Russian aggression.
Concerts were cancelled, and Kinchev was cancelled in due time. Olga Buzova was. We had such a struggle here. But in the end, her concert was also cancelled. On the whole, Israeli society is quite pro-Ukrainian. The vast majority of Israelis in general support Ukraine, sympathize with Ukraine, and on the other hand, they are less interested in Russian pop music. But nevertheless, when we turn to the Hebrew language press, they almost always react and support us.
Israel is one of the most active and important partners of Ukraine in the Middle East. The population of the country supports Ukrainians in the struggle for independence and territorial integrity, and volunteers send tons of humanitarian aid to Kyiv.
At the protests that we go out against attempts to change the judiciary, or rather the elections to the judiciary, you will see people who also march with Ukrainian flags, with Ukrainian symbols, as symbols of the fight against aggression. That is, in this regard, there was a shift. Therefore, the majority of people are against aggression and support Ukraine, if a percentage that is more than 80% of the population.
At the same time, most Ukrainians consider Israel a friendly country, such as poll data. Most respondents point to humanitarian and informational assistance from Israel. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Larisa Zubenko, UATV News.